In Photoshop, the latest version, you can now use live gradients as masks, which makes it really flexible to manipulate the mask. Instead of just being applying it once and that's it, and you can obviously apply it again and again and again, but now you've got this single mask that you can reposition, move it around. So how do you do this? I've got two layers. I can go to this layer, and then with that selected, I can go to layer and down to layer mask and reveal all. So you just do that, and that will add a mask at the side. You can do the same with the other one. So select that, exact same, layer and layer mask and reveal all. But what you can do, you can now, with that one selected, and it's got a border around it, when you select it, you see that border around it, and that's what you're going to be using. So go to the gradient tool, make certain you go for this one, top left, the gradient, not the classic gradient, but this gradient, because it's live. And I'm going to use the basic gradient you can find in the legacy default gradients. This one, just the default standard white black. See it up here, white to black, and then you can apply it. And just drag outwards, and you can obviously see reveal more or less, so you can concentrate on the face. You can also move it around, maybe go one there, 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 and so on. So you can just move it around. You can do exactly the same for the other one. So select that one. Again, the key thing is that border, that edge around it. Again, go to the gradient tool and add a gradient there. Now with that selected, and I'm going to work with this one, the lower layer, I can then move this midpoint. So this midpoint, I can push it up towards the face, or I can go back so you can see reveal more. You get this sharper edge around it. So I'm just going to go about there, keep it fairly blurry, and reposition it at that position. I want to change the other one, make certain you select that one, and then you can move that around, reposition that. Maybe put the highlight there and obviously darker around here. You can see the colour there, it's black, and the colour here is white. And again, you can still modify the midpoint for that one as well. Also, what you can do is you can go over here, select this one, and you can apply effects. So if you want, you can create, say, a blurring effect, or maybe some colour effect. So filter, maybe go down to blur and Gaussian blur, just to add a bit of blur, just have it fade away, and click OK. And you'll notice it becomes a smart filter, and you can still continue to modify the smart filter. So at any point, you can always just double click, bring up this panel again, maybe reduce the blurriness, and click OK. Now you can duplicate this layer. The trouble is that gradient is not live at that point. So if you go over here, layer and duplicate, so layer and duplicate layer, click OK. Unfortunately, the gradient, if you select that and then go to gradient tool, is no longer live. The previous one is still live. So if I go down to that one, you can modify that, but you're not modifying this one. This one is frozen. And again, go to the gradient tool and then add your mask that way. Now select this, and you can then reposition it, so you can move it around. So maybe create an effect like that. And of course you can resize it. Click OK there, drag it out, resize, and much, much more. One problem with this, if you save the document, it loses the ability to be able to modify the gradient. For some weird reason, the live gradient is lost. Not sure why. You can also use the live gradient with masks with smart filters. So with this layer selected, if it isn't a smart object, and you'll notice there you've got a little thumbnail there, what you need to do, go to layer, smart objects, and convert to smart object, so it becomes a smart object. So once it's a smart object, you can then apply smart filters. So filter and blur and Gaussian blur, or any of the other filter effects. So Gaussian blur, and you can see then the image is blurred. So I'm going for 176, quite intense. Maybe push it even greater, 318. Totally blurred it out. Click OK. and then you'll notice what happens. Generates this mask. You can select that mask. Again, you've got that border around that. Go to the gradient tool and apply. Now, by default, you probably won't have it reversed there. So apply it, and you can see what happens. The white area there, that's the area where it's going to be blurred. So if I move that across, you can see the black area, this area here, you can see the colour's black, is clear. Well, if you want, say, the blurring to be applied properly in the way that I think most people would like, what you need to do is go to reverse. So reverse, and now, if you move this in, the blurring is around the edge, so you can see the blurring effect, and you've got the sharpness in the centre around the face. So you can just tweak this, again, just bring that out, change this, do exactly the same as you did with the other mask. Move that, and you can still go to this one, and you can tweak this as well. So you can see, you can create blur in there or highlight there. So you've got two masks as part of this smart object. If you've got any questions, please let me know in the comments below. Thank you much.